Coyotes! Welcome back to our first live Cmstv of the 2020 through 2021 school year.
We've selected a few of our favorite stories to share with you guys.
Let's roll the intro! On to our first story, we want to remind you that Memorial Day is coming up on the 31st, so prepare yourself for a fun 3-day weekend.
Also, Cmstv state testing is this weekend, so make sure you get a lot of sleep and come prepared with a school-issued Chromebook and charger.
Our first story of the day is from Cole Lohmeyer about students' opinions on in-person learning. Let's jump into it.
I'd say I definitely like it better than online school because online I was kind of just stuck in my room all day, but it's nice going outside and even walking between classes is better than just sitting in my room or something like that. I definitely preferred the old Wednesdays because it was nice to have that break in between classes. The first 2 days, it was 6 hours or 5 hours or however long it was, and then we had a break, and then there was another 2 days of schoolwork. So I thought it was pretty good.
I like going back in person better because I get to see my friends, and it just kind of gets me back in that old routine of waking up early, and it gets me less lazy, where I can kind of wake up early, have breakfast, and then go to school and see all my friends, and I just like that better than just getting out of bed and just keeping out all my pajamas.
Okay, I definitely like going back to school 5 days a week because I am more focused and I get all my work done. When I was at home, I feel like I didn't get any work done and I was just laying in bed not paying attention. But at school, I definitely have been more focused and I like seeing my friends as well. Okay, I like asynchronous Wednesdays, but it's not terrible that we got rid of them because I think that a couple of years ago, last year, we were doing the same thing and we're getting out earlier this year, so I don't think it's terrible. Plus, we're already back 5 days a week, so might as well just keep it that way.
I don't like 5 days a week. I think it should be 4 days a week because putting in the Wednesday, us back to school Wednesdays, messes up the whole schedule entirely, and it would just be so much better if they had no Wednesdays. And plus, people could get all their work done and get an extra rest day.
Going back 5 days a week has actually helped me because I've done my homework faster in class, whereas if I was online, I wouldn't do my homework faster. Also, I get to see my friends.
I do miss the asynchronous Wednesdays.
I didn't know there was such a wide range of opinions regarding in-person learning.
Our next story is a student spotlight on Max Markey and his LEGO robotics skills. Let's send it off to Max.
Hi Coyotes, today we interviewed Max Markey on his passion for robotics.
What inspired you to do robotics?
Something that inspired me was all the just different things on the internet, like YouTube videos of things that people have built and building instructions on the internet. They've all kind of just helped me grow. And also, I just was introduced to it in 3rd grade and just tried it. And I really liked it, and that kept building me up until I got to the point where I am now.
What is your favorite part about robotics?
I would say my favorite part about robotics is just being able to build and program, because when I look at my bins of pieces and look at my computer with an empty programming canvas, I see that I can make anything with those things, anything that my mind is limited to.
How many competitions have you been to?
I've been to 14 competitions so far, and all of them have really been pretty much the same, where you have the 3 elements, which are robot board, core values, and project. And they all have different meanings, and what they do are completely different.
How long have you been doing robotics?
I've been doing it for about 5 years now. I started in the 3rd grade, and I've been doing it every year since. And I've also been doing not just my robotics league, but I've also been building stuff in my room. And I've been doing that a lot lately too.
As the lead programmer for his team, Max has won qualifiers for closed championship and won first in open champions.
Thank you, Preston, Cohen, and Kane, for introducing us to Max.
It's so cool to see the different extracurricular activities my peers engage in.
As we get on to our next story, we want to remind you to buy your yearbooks and for 8th graders to buy your promotion pictures.
Our next story is from Delaney and Sienna. They're going to share some trivia.
Hi Coyotes, and welcome to Trivia. We have 4 categories.
The first one will be Disney. Let's get started.
Which one of these isn't one of the 7 dwarfs? A. Asheville or B. Jumpy?
The answer is Jumpy. On to our next question. How long was the genie stuck in the lamp before Aladdin released him? 10,000, 400, or 1,000 years?
The answer is 10,000 years. I would have chosen 400 years.
Moving on to our next category, sports.
First up, which NFL quarterback has won the most Super Bowl titles? A. Tom Brady, B. Philip Rivers, or C. Drew Brees?
You guessed it, the answer is Tom Brady. For our last question in the sports category we have, the Olympics are held every how many years?
Every 4 years.
Well, that wraps up sports. Now on to finish the lyrics.
I have loved listening to this song late at night. It's one of my favorites. It's called Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo.
Here's the lyrics. 'Cause you said forever, now I drive alone past your A, house, B, school, C, street, or D, neighborhood.
And the answer is street.
That concludes our trivia game. Have a good day, Coyotes. Sending it back to the anchors.
Wow, those Disney ones are pretty tough.
I'm so glad that I have my Disney-loving friend Delaney with me.
Our next story is from Adelina and our personal best study tips, which we'll be needing for our last few tests of the school year.
Hey Coyotes! Today we're going to be talking about studying tips and tactics. The end of the school year is starting to wrap up real fast, and with that comes final grades and tests. So to make sure that you guys pass all these tests and keep your grades up, we're going to be telling you some studying tips and tactics. So let's get right into the story.
While studying, your surroundings matter because video games, TV shows, and movies can be very distracting. Getting into a quiet room or area so you can work in peace is very beneficial. Staying on task and not simply playing games is very important. Feeding the brain is very much needed to keep a healthy mindset while studying. So eating snacks while studying, like fruits such as grapefruit, oranges, bananas, apples, will help. Or you can have avocados, proteins like eggs, and even salads with vegetables. Plus there's drinks like tea and coffee, juices, and waters. Sometimes studying indoors can be very overwhelming, so going outside and taking some fresh air to study is better.
Okay, Coyotes, now that we know a few new nicks and tricks, we can better prepare ourselves for upcoming tests and keep our grades up. Make sure you guys ask your teachers any questions you might have and or talk about zeros and missing assignments. Your teachers are always there to help and try to benefit you the best. Thank you, Coyotes, and we're sending it back to the anchors.
Thank you for sharing your tips and tricks with us.
Coming up next, we have a story from Lola and Karis interviewing San Diego sports reporter Amanda Valianas.
Hey Coyotes! I'm Karis. And I'm Lola. And today we are bringing you a very special interview with the one and only
Amanda Valianas, a world-renowned CBS sports reporter.
So let's get to it.
Today, Karis and I had the privilege to ask Amanda Valianas some questions about her job as a CBS sports reporter. This is Amanda.
So I report right now on 2 sports. I report on golf and also on NFL and college football. I've been doing this particular job with CBS since 2017, but I have been in the broadcast industry since I graduated in 2008, and I probably had my first real on-air TV job in 2009. There are so many parts of my job that I love. I love the travel. I love that no 2 days are ever the same. I love the people that you get to meet and the connections that you make and the relationships that you build. Honestly, pretty much everything about my job, I just love so much.
Thank you for joining us today.
I'm Karis.
And I'm Lola.
Sending it back to the anchor.
Thank you so much for that awesome story. Before our final story, we have one last announcement for you guys. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss anything.
Now, for our last story, we have our groups interviewing the owner of Jay's Gourmet in the village.
My name is Jay. Last name is Motamedi. I've been here at this location in Carlsbad for 30 years. Well, I started working in a restaurant when I was 16. I worked for Domino's and Church's Chicken and some fast food. Finally, I started working in some fine Italian restaurants. And for me, the cooking concept, it was always interesting, and I love to serve people good food and see their happy faces. And I fell in love with it. And when I was 25, I wanted to have my own restaurant. And I came here to Carlsbad, and I'm happy that I'm here. We do traditional Italian seafood, and we sell a lot of that. But we have homemade pizzas, we do homemade garlic bread, as you guys know. We do everything here homemade as homemade guests. It's been a challenge business-wise last year, with closing and not be able to open. But the support of Carlsbad people keep me going, and they just were great, even during the time we were closed. We're open at 11, and right now, probably around 9 because the COVID and all the restrictions. But normally, when we go back to normal, we'll be open at 11 till 10 at night. It's my business. I started when I was 25. I came here, and I loved it right off the bat. And I've been staying here since then. What a great place to be. You gotta love living in Carlsbad.
Yeah. Favorite part about working here? Not a good one, Cole? Well, yeah. Okay.
I love the people here, actually, in Carlsbad. I think is the number one thing for me, that there's such a cool people here, such a great community, and great place to have a family, and just to live here is a privilege. I love Carlsbad. I think that's number one thing for me.
Garlic bread made me so hungry.
Same.
All right, Coyotes, that's all we have for you today.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Coyotes.